probably wondering what we're doing with flowers here. We are inviting you to watch our next show. And our show is I'll Take the Flowers, but I'm No Lady. Find out more Woman to Woman, Friday, 3 p.m.
We are women. We are brave, strong, capable, unique. We are Women to Women.
Good afternoon, South Africa. And as you can see, we are all pinky-like with flowers. We bring to you flowers because there is a saying out there, I will take the flowers, but I'm no lady. So we are going to discuss about that today, to be or not to be a lady. What we need to reflect is, during the month of September, we have learned 5 lessons from Mother Nature. And in preparing those lessons, we came about this one that needed a very special emphasis. Because at the same time that it's a very beautiful topic, it is quite challenging, because in our society today, the idea of being feminine, it shows weakness. Is it so? So today we are going to bring about the comparison. Why women in general are compared to flowers? What is the essence? What is the purpose, the meaning of it? Starting by defining the topic as femininity. And I wanted to read to you the description given by Helen Enderlin. Helen Enderlin lived in the previous century. She was a dentist by profession. She died in the year of 2009 when she was 89 years old. She was happily married. She was the mother of 8 children. And she became very active in the topic of today because she was exploring the role of a woman in society, the importance, and of course, her views were totally opposing the views of feminists of that age and this age. And she says, I quote, "Femininity is a gentle and tender quality found in a woman's appearance, manner, and nature." Interesting, she talks about nature. So let us explore a little bit of the characteristics of femininity in a woman and the characteristics of the flower.
Have you ever considered the similarities of femininity and flowers? Let's explore. Femininity is about appearance, about color, gentleness, manners, and the choices that one makes. And on the other side, flowers. Flowers are beautiful, fragile, colorful, attractive, cared for by the Creator. They are dependent. They are calming and smell good. The scent of purity that is refreshing. Now that we have covered the characteristics, let's head back to the show.
So, watching this slide, we could compare, but what is the connection between women and flowers?
I would say a woman is beautiful.
I would say she is fragile, but she is actually a strong, weak vessel.
She is soft. Her smile make everything okay.
Her shape is attractive, mostly to the opposite sex.
And her husband has pleasure in taking care of her.
And she can also set the mood in her home.
So why the disconnection came about? What happened through the ages that we women lost that side of being feminine, attractive, beautiful, and being proud about it? Because what I sense nowadays, they compare, that's why I said the strong, weak vessel, but they compare that to be feminine is to be weak, it's to be vulnerable, when there is a great strength that comes inside. When you still can be put together, be beautiful, but be decisive, be defined. That is what they miss with being feminine. It doesn't necessarily mean to be all pink all around, but a woman that is feminine, she is decided. So what happens with this? What happened with the woman of 21st century?
I think we found a lot of family values being broken down. And with that, as we said earlier, she sets the mood in her home. So women would be the ones that would teach their children on how to respect other people, how to share, how to care, how to even take care of their own personal space. However, with today, with femininity stepping in, women are now saying and teaching their young girls to say to them that, listen, if you're going to wash the dishes, your brother needs to wash them too. So that young woman grows up thinking that she is being derated or looked down upon if she knows how to take care of a home. And now we have sayings where people say everything must be 50-50 in a marriage. So she will say, if I cook, you wash the dishes. If I sweep, you are going to do this. But it's more of a demand thing instead of people doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. So with all these family values being taken away, it has actually now made us turn away from the beauty and the beautiful essence of a flower, because now we are no longer that beautiful and pleasing, but instead when a man or the family walks in, there isn't that, oh, how was your day? How's everything doing? What would you like? It's all about her. So if she's tired, she's not cooking. If she's not happy with anyone in the house, she locks herself in the room and doesn't interact with the whole family. So that breaks family values because there is no communication. You don't know what's happening in the lives of your circle in that home. And from that, the kids end up thinking that is the way of living, that is okay. And they take it on to their families in future as well.
I want you to develop a little bit more on the idea of being a strong, weak vessel. As the flower was created by God, so of course we were as women created by God. But people don't understand that women are not inferior. Women are at the same level of men. However, we have different shapes and different roles. That's why I said a strong, weak vessel. We are supposed to be protected. We are supposed to have that fragility by nature. But it does not mean that we are weak. And it does not mean that we are inferior. The way God has meant for men and women, one would take some decisions and the other would complement with those decisions. I love my home and I don't feel inferior if I take care of my house. I think if my husband would, it would be a disaster. It would be very minimalistic and plain, and I could not live in a place like that. I love my decoration. I love my cushions. I love my flowers. I love to put things, to bring different things to the house. And that does not make me with less value than my husband, who is more objective. Who has to resolve the things when my emotions are all over the place? He kicks in and says, no, let us look at the problem. Let us look for the solution of this problem. Let me give you an example, the problem you went through. You are in one of those rush days, and all of a sudden you drop the glass and you shout so loud, and he comes quickly and say, what happened? And we'd say, I broke the glass, and said, okay, let us just get it and you buy a new one. That is the contribution to family. While we are caregivers, they are more rational. But that is the perfect partnership. Imagine I wouldn't like to live with another myself. Mass and Massa together would not work. It would be very boring. It would be a drama for the neighbors as well. That is the difference that people don't mean. when they say that women has a role, and they feel it's subjection, when we were created on equal value with different functions, with different purpose in the family and in our society. And there I see the disconnect, that it's easier to say women are less valued and subject to men, so that's wrong. When God created us with the same purpose, different roles.
I could say as well that disconnect comes with career advancement. And as we have spoken in a lot of shows, that in South Africa, actually all over the world, we have a lot of single mother homes, and they had no choice but to work. So growing up, we see that, our parents are strong, they're able to take care of the house and work at the same time. So we think that, okay, I'm going to be like her, so let me put my career first, and everything else will come afterwards. And now we have this opportunity of having men have stepped up quite a lot. They are taking responsibility of their kids. They are taking responsibility of their families. So really, in some cases, there is no need for a woman to say that I'm going to advance my career so that my family can be, well looked after, because now there are two parents in a home. So she can take on some responsibility while she allows and lets her husband take care of other things in the family. I'm not saying that a woman should not work, but now we see how many women, they put work above family. They want to be, at the top. They want the top office. They want to earn a lot of money. They want to advance their career so much that they want to be the best, even if it means earning more than the husband, and they want that. And it's not a problem, but for them it's like a goal. I need to be the CEO at work and at home as well. So advancing,
that is the conflict. I don't think, and I don't believe you think it would be a problem for a woman to develop a career. You might not know, but we as pastors' wives, we work every day, the whole day. We have responsibilities in the office, don't we? The problem is what you said, to be the CEO in the company, but also to want to be the CEO in the house.
And this is where we see now the disconnect in the roles of husbands, because now some husbands will choose to stay at home. We see how, on Instagram now the dad is there doing the hair of the girl, which is nice. But, if he's a single dad, then really it's not a problem. If he wants to, it's not a problem. But you find that the mother is not there. She's traveling the world, networking, because she wants to advance her career. And most of the time it's because of selfishness. It's because of something, it's something that she wants, because she never had that kind of life. It's not because of the children. It's not because of her family, but it's because of her. She's selfish, so she wants to, travel the world, network, and create connections and become this, this mogul and have all this money. But then it comes at the cost of the family, at the cost of the children and the husband. So I think the disconnect really comes when there's no proper balance between having a family and taking care of a family and advancing your career, instead of bringing someone else to take care of the family or of the children. And now the children are more connected to the caretaker than the mother. And now she feels bad because she had been advancing her career of all those years without advancing the lives of her children.
Can I step on a gray area here? I think that's the purpose of today's show anyway. When you are feminine, first of all, you know your value and your purpose, and you know your role. When career development is the top of your priority, somehow, to me, it seems like you're projecting your value to your career. So if you don't have that title, if you don't have that responsibility, if you don't travel the world, you don't see yourself as a woman of value. And again, I say, that's the difference about knowing that we are fragile, but we are strong. We don't need things. We don't need people to endorse our value. Someone who's feminine and understands the concept of God, the purpose of God, will be satisfied with who she is.
And there comes the burden of the responsibility, because she embraces everything, the career, and she needs to take care of the kids, because the family is looking up to the woman inside the house, because that's how is our nature.
Not mentioning, and I want to cut again, I'm so sorry for that, is she spoke about those who have family. How about those who can't have a family because their job, their career, is they are married to their workplace?
I actually saw something whereby some are even electing to get divorced. And
Electing.
move, yes, like there's no marriage problems, there's nothing happening, but because I feel like this part of the world is where it's moving and buzzing, and if I am there, I am going to be that boss babe that everybody looks up to. If my family and my husband say, oh no, but we don't think we can move, she's intelligent to say, okay, I'll step away for a few months and then you guys come and visit me. Then with time, she ends up saying, okay, I want to live here and be rooted here. And if the husband comes and says, but what about the school? What about my career and this? Then she pulls in the feminine card of her now wanting to be soft when she wants to be soft. And she says, but if you love me, you will support me. You will be here. And that's why in some cases we have the stay-at-home dads. Not because he wasn't thriving in another part of the world, he was, but because he wants to support her and he's avoiding her saying, okay, then let's separate, and he wants to keep his family together, then she says, okay, then move in. But in other cases, when the man stamps his foot and he's gone and says, no, but our whole family is here, my work is here, everything is here, then she says, okay, let's get divorced, then I'll start my life elsewhere. And something that I see that's also very different is how they are ready to let go of the kids, while else in the past you would hear women say, I can lose everything
But I cannot
but
lose
I
my
can't
kids."
lose my kids. But today she's able to say, no, it's okay, then you keep the kids and let them be comfortable there, and I will be here and we will co-parent together.
Because it's not our nature, then it comes the burden of responsibility. That's what I wanted to explore before, because it applies to the singles as well.
Yes, because then she wants to embrace everything. I remember one of the days Miss Marsha mentioned, because we work and I was outside and Vladimir wanted a juice, an orange juice. When I arrived home, he was preparing the juice. He cut his finger, then we had water everywhere. And I came and said, what is happening? I'm just trying to have a juice. And I came in because it's the nature of a woman to take care of the house, to take care of the husband. And in the process, the husband, the family will give her the emotional support we need. Because it's that moment, like, I'm here for you. When we break the glass, when it's something so small happen and said, no, I'm here. And the kids are looking up to that. But because it's not our nature, we can work outside. But when we arrive home, we need to feel that that's my home, it's my house. I look over here, and that burden of responsibility. And now I need to be fit, I'm going to work, I need to dress like the other ones there, the women in that office. And I cannot eat everything that I need to eat sushi where I don't like sushi, but I need to fit and I need to pretend. And that brings a huge burden that we can't have it. And we break down. That's why the moms like, no, it's my time. I need to be alone. Please lock themselves in the room. And the kids are there. The husband arrived. We spoke about the smile. And her face is down because she can't hold the emotions, the storm that she's having inside. And for men, yes, they need to be quiet. For us, we like to talk when we are having a moment. And they try to cope. No, I need to hold for myself. I need to show I'm strong. So let me be here alone. And that burden consumes that woman. And she ends up being this sad person while she's outside, working, successful, and pretending everything is fine. But inside, she's dying because she's not holding to the nature of a woman that is to be feminine.
Sometimes they say it's complicated to be a woman, but if we understand how God has created us and our purpose, it becomes very simple. The first thing also that happens, we know our limits. So, as you said, you wanted to be a career maker, you wanted to be a mother, you wanted to have kids, you wanted to get married, you wanted to have family, you wanted to be fit, you wanted to dress up like the others, you want to travel. Over the weekend, you don't go and visit family, you have those business appointments that you need to make new connections, business connections. There is one day that will be the day that you're going to break because you are a woman. You run by hormones, you have emotions. And it's so simple when we understand who we are, what we want, and our limitations.
I think when Silmara was speaking about the burden of responsibility, it reminded me of something that I read where what she was explaining, they call it decision fatigue. That when you make, it was actually something about finances, but when you have made a lot of decisions, there comes a point where you are so tired that that's when people end up engaging in compulsive buying or, impulse purchases because you've been making so many decisions that at the end of a particular day, you are exhausted. Usually people buy things that they don't need when they come back from work because they are tired. So imagine that mother who is a CEO, who has been doing this, doing that. By the time she gets home, she's so exhausted that there's nothing left in her tank for her children. She's snappy with the children, with the husband, with all of this. And that's where, because family values are broken, divorces start to happen because these women give the best of themselves in the workplace and the worst of themselves at home. To the people who actually care about them, they get the worst end of the stick, while a job that if something happens to you tomorrow, they will replace you without even thinking twice, they get the best of them. So it's that burden of responsibility, it's really serious. But another thing that I think causes this disconnect is the disillusion that women have with the idea of, gender roles are changing, because this is what we hear outside. So women believe that no, with women, advancing in our careers, we are doing this, we are doing that. So gender roles are changing. But the question is, are they really changing, or these movements are trying to force for these roles to change? And I'll give an example. I think that when women started working and succeeding outside of the home, they expected that someone is going to pick up the slack for what they are now not able to do at home. But no one ever asked the men if they are willing to pick up that responsibility. So because women are celebrated so much in these years that we're living in, we expect that the men in our lives should simply just celebrate us and do what we want them to do without having had a conversation with them. So I was thinking to myself that I don't know any man who leaves his workplace and says, oh, I'm looking forward to putting those pots on the stove. I'm going to cook this for my family.
Unless he's a chef.
Unless he's a chef. But even if he's single, he knows that he doesn't have anyone to do that for him. He will cook because he has to eat, but that's not something that he's looking forward to. Now, how much more a man who is married, he is not looking forward to now getting, after doing his work, now getting home and having to cook and take care of the kids, do the kids' hair, bath the kids, do the homework, because the wife is a CEO and she's somewhere, globe-trotting. And I know that when we say this, people will be like, no, but that's his family too. He also needs to do something. Yes, he should, but that's not natural to him. As you're explaining, in your home, the decoration, the things that you like to make your home feel comfortable, it doesn't come naturally to our husband, but it comes naturally to you. No one has to make you do it. You just do because that's what you love. So even a man cooking and cleaning and all of that, it doesn't come naturally to him. And we are trying to feminize the men in our lives. And when they don't want to be, then we get mad that they're not supporting us. They are nasty. They are hating on our
They're taking advantage of us.
We say all of these things, but the truth is no one ever asked the men that as women are saying, no, we don't want to be in the house anymore. We want to be in the workplace. So are you also going to be in the home? Picking up that response. No one asked them, and we overlook their rights and their desires so much that we don't care what they think. They should pick up the slack because I need to be in the workplace. If he doesn't do it, I call him names. And that's where, a lot of these things become a problem. I was listening to a radio program and I thought this was laughable. The presenter of this South African radio program, which I will not mention.
Please.
She was saying, they were talking about this, about, division of labor. And she was like, on TikTok, people are talking about division of labor. And I thought to myself, first of all, you should not be getting advice about your relationship from TikTok. Number one, that's a problem. However, then she says, so why are men not helping in the home? And a gentleman called. So women were calling in, obviously supporting each other about, how men should, pick up their responsibility. And a man called in and said, if you have people invading your home at night, who do you expect to go out and deal with these intruders? And I thought it was laughable when she said, no, but I can also protect my partner. I wanted to laugh. Like, really? And this is what women say all the time. We think we can do exactly what men do. There is no way that if people are invading your home, as a woman, I'm going to protect my husband.
Unless
Actually,
you are a policewoman.
Exactly. But I'm insulting him to even say to people, no, I will protect him. Like, I'm actually insulting him. And in the same breath, we're going to say, we want manly men. And then at the same time, no, step back, I'll take over. So we are confusing, we are putting so much on the men. We don't listen to them. We don't care what they need, what they would like to see happening in their homes. And we still complain when we don't get what we want. So I think that the idea that gender roles have changed, it's really, even if they're changing outside, check in your home. Is your husband willing to do that or wanting to do that? Because we tend to force things that are from outside into our homes. And then when the fire gets too hot, then we complain that, it's the husband who's wrong.
There is something else I wanted to add on. And I think this is one of the biggest differences we as women don't get. I mean, especially the ones outside who are buying from the street. When we do things in the house, the way we fix the bed, the way we set the table for dinner, the way we organize the food in trays, any small activity. My husband never complained, this bed is not done the way I want, or I didn't like the napkins you put on the table, or why you serving this on this tray and should be in that Pyrex. Never. Did it happen to you?
Never.
They are grateful. But now change the roles. I'm the CEO, and I expect my husband to do his home labor. But when I get home, the first thing that I'm going to do is, this napkin is not good, it's not matching, you didn't straighten the bed the way I wanted to do, so despite we impose a task, a responsibility upon them, which maybe they didn't ask for, we still dictate how it has to be done. And we don't appreciate, we actually show our dissatisfaction on how they did it. How can people be happy like this?
And I'm thinking of how, even when we're talking of caretakers, to show how much hypocritical we are. When we hire a caretaker to help in the house, we don't hire another man. We hire
disaster.
We hire a woman because we know that that woman will get it right. She will do things the way that you like to do them. So my question is then, why do we want our husbands to be at the same level with us in decorating the house? Because some will say, no, I don't trust women, so I don't want any woman coming in my house and helping me in my house as a caretaker, taking care of my kids, my husband, and all of those things. Okay, so if you're not going to hire someone, who's going to do it? So in other words, you are saying to that man, you have to step in. And I think Dumi asked a very important question, because we need to be careful with these new age trends that we have and we follow on social media, no one ever asks that man, how happy is he? It's nice when he's trending doing the girl's hair, but we don't know during the day from 6 a.m. until you return because you've been networking for dinner, during dinner as well. When you return at 10 p.m., we don't know how he feels inside. We don't know how he sees himself as a man. And we have lost that because if you think of it, women would be there to uplift their men. When he loses his job, she would be the one to say, no, don't worry, honey. Tomorrow you wake up in the morning, get dressed, let's prepare, let's reset and everything. Today, if he loses a job, she's like, no, don't worry. I've got this family. I'll take care of us.
But she will be the first one to say, you are not working. I am feeding the house. Now she takes the position of the leader just because she still has a job and he doesn't.
And when he wants to get back on his feet, she doesn't allow him to do so. But when things go down, like Tumi said, when it goes south, then she wants him to man up. And now men are getting to a stage where they are so tired of this that they will tell them, like, you wanted to be the man, so go ahead, like, be the man in the household. And that takes away the femininity that God gave us. And we are just killing ourselves because that's why, I don't know if you've noticed, but in circles, when women start talking about marriage outside, it's a negative thing. It's always like as soon as one says, then my husband, they're like, oh, don't start. Like, oh, Jim did this, that one did that. Oh, he's so useless. But why are they useless? It's because maybe we have crossed the line and we're on the other side and impeding them from being the heroes that they should be.
I was talking to a lady and she was asking me this question because she's a successful lady in her business and everything. And she said, why those who are successful, they don't make it in marriage? And I told her, you need to remember, you are the CEO in your company and those who submit to you, you pay them for that. When you arrive home, you are not paying your husband, your kids, to submit
I hope
to you.
not.
So they cancel the man, they cancel their family, they just project, no, I'm going to be, because outside they respect me so much, but stop paying them for you to see if they are going to bury you. They will not.
They respect in front of you, especially if you are an alpha woman. You saw our show. And stats prove the case. They respect you because they have to. In relationships, family, marriage, true friends, respect is earned and not paid. We proved that we disconnected. We really proved that we have lost in some points what God has created us for. And we have shown that to be feminine is not to be weak. But now, just after we break, we are going to discuss about the results of disconnecting. How we women are living today as a result of the new trends that we have accommodated. So you will go nowhere because the second part of the show will be more striking. Maybe you are displaying some of these behaviors and you don't know. And today you're going to realize and make a change. We're going to be right back.
So tired of holding on to raise my hopes and fail again. Yet your voice do I hear? Just your voice do I hear? To turn this desert into pastures green. I found you by the well. With you I'll never thirst again. I owe my all to you. I owe my all to you. led into pastures green. Embrace me now, to the altar you and I, to fight, to sacrifice, overcome and find new life. How good it was to wait. With you I'll never feel again. For now I truly know a love that's born of faith, a love that is born of faith. Embrace me now, to the altar you and I, to fight, to sacrifice, overcome and find new life.
Welcome back. Now we are going to look into the results of being this modern woman. We don't have anything against it if we would have approached it in the right way. So let us see some of the consequences.
We see a lot of women being very frustrated and angry. And that is because of unmet expectations that they set. So earlier we were talking of how in the household she wants to be the boss. And when the man now lets her lead and there are things she wants him to lead on and he doesn't know when it is, because it's like stepping on a landmine around her. She gets angry. She has outbursts. She lets people know how they are useless, how people are not where they're supposed to be. She compares, because comparison nowadays, it's no longer about her, but then she will compare her husband to her friend's husband. She never compares herself to her friend, how her friend behaves or acts, and why the husband treats her the way she does. But she's going to say, oh, you don't love me. We said our show's name is funny. I'll take the flowers, but I'm not a lady. So I'm thinking every man, when he wants to get married, he wants to get married to a lady. So if you're just going to be the person, the boss of the house, that man is not going to meet some of your expectations. So when you are crying, because you're such a boss, he doesn't know, do I hug her? Do I hold her? Do I ask her what's wrong? Because you snap. And the funny part is then she comes, you don't even see that I'm crying. And the guy is like,
What am I supposed to do now?
What am I supposed to do? Do I hold you? Because they just want now to be in charge of everything, and the kids as well. When she goes to the sports day of the child is shocked. The child goes, Mommy, what are you doing here? And she feels embarrassed, like, oh no, how could this child say this? But that's because you're not present and they don't have a relationship with you. And we often hear them say, oh no, my child is more connected to so-and-so more than me. Because at that moment, her maternal expectations are not met, and it hurts as a woman. A lot of them can downplay it and say, oh no, I'm okay with it, my child loves everybody. No, but the true essence is a child is supposed to be closest to their mother, to their parent. But when you see them seeking for love in other places, it's because you are not doing what you're doing. And because you have unmet expectations, you're always angry. Like nowadays, it's such a shame when we watch anything on TV and a group of women come together. It's like you're counting down for the fight to break out. Like, if it's 10 minutes, it's harmonious. But then there'll be something, oh, you're not a good friend to me, but you're also not a good friend to me because of this and this and this. And they fight. And that's because it's built up frustration and anger, not necessarily because of what Dumi is not doing, but it's because I am not what I'm supposed to be to Tumi, and that impedes Tumi from being who she's supposed to be to me. Then when I feel like I need Tumi to be this now, and she's not, I'm frustrated and I'm angry. And we take it to all walks of life. In the office, we see, that's why people say they prefer working with men, because
Yeah.
men know how to end what happened at home. As soon as he steps into the office, he's objective. This is what we're here for. But then out of
Women?
nowhere, then boss baby enters. She had a bad day. Something happened at home. Oh, everybody is paying for it in the office. And to show how funny it is, the comments will tell you, because people know. Then they will start saying like, oh, someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. Like, oh, someone didn't have their breakfast. Like, oh, someone didn't drink their happy pill. And the sad part is that's why today they depend on so much things to balance their mood and stuff. But if we were just to be feminine again, I think the health sector would lose a lot of money, because people drink a lot of things. You have to drink a pill to wake up. You have to drink a pill to sleep. You have to drink a pill to be happy. You have to drink a pill to be in control of your emotions and all of that. But that's because we have lost the
So
essence.
the result, the first overall result, it is stress, frustration, anger.
The next one, I think, the result of all of these things that we spoke about before the break is that women have become overtly sensual. And they see it as, out there they talk about how they are sexually liberated, so they can do whatever that they want. But the truth is that when someone of the opposite sex would treat them the way that they treat themselves and they present themselves to the world, it's seen as wrong, as bad. How dare you objectify women like that? And yet we see the same women that everyone says men are objectifying or other people are objectifying themselves. And that should be okay. So we see how clothes are getting smaller and smaller, non-existent, and how women will post, pictures of themselves barely wearing anything. And they know that men, we mentioned how a woman's body is naturally attractive to men. To the opposite, that's how it was naturally made. The body of a woman is attractive. And women use that when it suits them, that they can use their body, their sensuality to get what they want from men.
But they use it as a currency.
Yes. As a currency, they will do that for them to get what they want. However, when men will even make a comment about that, something that they put out there, no, how dare you disrespect women like this? So we think we are sexually liberated, but if anything, we are putting ourselves down. We are objectifying ourselves. And as Precious
Yes.
said, what you put out, when it now comes back to you, you complain. So now when we put ourselves there, because we ain't no ladies, we just want the benefits that our bodies are going to offer us. We just want whatever it is that we can get using our body and our sexuality. When now men don't take women seriously, because they think that women are all about what their bodies can get, we get upset and say they don't respect us. We get upset and say, and sometimes, and I'm going to speak to those who are younger, you are a teen, you are 20, you are in your 30s. You think that, oh no, I am hot, I can do this, I can do that. But remember, you are going to get to 39, to 40. And at that time where you think, now I want to settle down, men are interested in, remember the internet doesn't forget. What you have been doing in your 20s and your 30s, there's a guy on YouTube who calls it hitting the wall. He says the women in their 30s are hitting the wall so bad that now they are realizing how feminism played them. Feminism played them.
Feminism played them.
Feminism is the worst thing that ever happened to women. Our job used to be no job. We had it so good. And then all these women had to show off and be like, we could do it. We could do anything. Shut up. Don't tell them the secrets.
I don't want to be equal. I don't want any part of being equal. I will make sandwiches. I will cook dinner. I will wear an apron. I will clean house. I'll vacuum. I'll do whatever I got to do to keep from shoveling rock.
Let me tell you something. You women from the 60s really messed up my life goals. You didn't want to stay at home and clean the house, take care of the kids, you know, have dinner ready for your husbands when they got home from work. That is all I want to do. But no, you thought everyone wanted to be independent. I don't. I don't want to be independent. So now here I am, going to school, because I'm ready to go to college and get them a job and education. Women.
Hi guys, like I'm so sad right now because I just came to like a realization these past few days have been so hard for me. Cause like, you know how men say that women have toxic feminism and like you'll get to a certain age and like no one will want to marry you and no one will love you. Like, I feel like I've gotten to that point, guys. Like I was so hung on to this feminism thing and I missed out on marriage and on children. And now like I'm at a point in my life where like I'm so bitter. I'm so jealous of people who have marriages because they are so happy and their husbands don't even cheat on them. And like men are just the best. You know, like right now is when I'm realizing like I can't do without them. And right now I'm like, I don't care like if you are rich or poor, tall, dark, handsome, ugly, me, I don't care by the way. As long as you're a man and you're breathing, like that's the only qualification I need because I'm just so desperate for a husband. Like there's a lot of pressure around me, so if you can deal me and propose, I swear I'll behave and I'll marry you immediately. I'll wash your clothes, I'll cook for you, I'll have your children and I'll be obedient and a submissive wife because that is what you guys want. I'm no longer a feminist, guys. I'm sorry.
And they can't reverse it because now when you're 40 years old, men are interested in the 25-year-old. And you have even those who are of your age, they want a younger girl. And you say, oh, no, this is wrong. But you are forgetting that when you were 25, you were liking that.
Yes.
And you were going with everyone and you wanted the benefits that your body was offering you. So now when you are 39 or 35, now you're complaining because men are looking at your history and they realize that, no, I don't want that. They have a choice, but we say that they should not have a choice because we want what we want. So this overt sensuality that we see out there, how women objectify themselves, it's really, really sad because, you know, sometimes I'm not supporting anyone doing something to someone's body that they don't consent to. That is wrong. However,
Yes.
we do it to ourselves and then we cry the victim when things start to happen because of what we put out there. Because people don't know who you are. If I say I'm a Christian, but I'm on YouTube or on social media and I'm showing all parts of my body that no one has business to be, they don't know who, they only look at that picture and they say, okay, this girl must be that type of girl. Whether I go to church, whether I say I love Jesus or I don't love Jesus, they will never know. That first impression, what they see on social media, that's all they have to go on because they don't know who I am. So overt sexuality is really something that is so bad. And even, you see, I saw a picture of a mother and a daughter and they were not dressed and they were like, oh, who's the mother, who's the daughter? Okay, she looked good for her age, but mom, what are you teaching your daughter? You have no business doing this, but what are you saying to your daughter? And this is the message that we've given to young girls to say, do this, but we don't tell them on the other side that time will go. And then everyone will regret because we are created by God naturally. So at a certain time when you are done with the mess of being young and wanting to be hot and applauded for your body, now you are older and then that natural thing kicks in to say, oh, how I wish I had a companion. How I wish I had children. How I wish I could come back from my, wonderful job and have someone to speak to and have children or even grandchildren in the past. Time has gone and you don't have that. And you have no one but yourself to blame if you continue in that path.
You see how this hashtag, my body, my rules, changed with the principle. Because when we would say my body, my rules, it was, I decide, don't come, don't take advantage. However, now this is used to justify the occasional relationships, how many one sleeps with and which gender and what kind of things she does to her body. So that is another damaging result of modern women today, sensuality.
And they are lonely as well, because the results of all that
Yeah.
end up when the person becomes alone. She comes to the age, and now I want to get married. I want to find someone to take care of me. I already took care of everyone, and now no one loves me. So, in fact, it was all about her before. And now she's trying to redeem time. Now I need to find someone. And people, they realize, if we see kids, they are more into the grandmother, with the auntie, the uncles, because those who play the role of a mother and a father figure will get the attention of that child. And she ends up saying, and now what's going to happen with me? Who is going to take care of me? And everyone misses to have someone by our side. If you say, I'm fine being alone, if you dig there inside, you are not fine.
Be honest.
Because you need to go out to parties. You need to have friends. And if that friend do something that hurts you, you feel that. So we are not meant to be an island, to be alone. We need someone to be next to you. We need family. And when the person behaves like this, I am the owner of my life. I know the best for me. She comes to the final days when she's alone, and most of the time there is no time to go back and try a different way of doing things.
Let me be honest here. When you say you are not alone because you are surrounded by friends, you are surrounded by people at your workplace, we talk about someone you can be yourself, not to buy favors, to impress, or to be who you are not. Someone that you are free to be yourself, to talk about your weaknesses, to downfall. Someone who can see you crying. So women, sometimes they are busybodies, full of friends and people around them, but not being their true self, putting up an image that they are strong. When we talk about being alone, is being with someone, a friend, a husband, who will carry you through in the worst of your moments. And that person is there for you without a currency, without being paid for that.
And I have to speak about this. Women are very loud these days. Women are too loud these days, and they mask it as, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. But I don't know the proper definition of freedom of speech and freedom of expression, but one thing I know is that it does not mean being loud. It doesn't mean that you have to raise your voice above someone else's voice in order for you to be heard. And because women are so loud today, they lack that softness, that that fragility, that that beauty, because now they are loud. And it's not loud because of their opinions. It's loud like the voice, like the volume of the voice, it's like, no, you ain't gonna tell me.
Shouting.
They shout so much. And even husbands are so scared to even correct their wives because they are gonna shout, and then those hand gestures, and men are expecting it. That's the saddest part, that men are already expecting that if I tell my wife this, she's going to react in this way. And now men are losing power, and they are losing the opportunity to build their wives, because their wives are, like, you ain't gonna tell me what to do, this, and that. And then, it's crazy how we see women being so loud nowadays. And Precious spoke about what we see on TV. They say it's reality TV, but that is not reality, because that is for the show, right? For the ratings, because they are getting paid. They are actually getting paid to fight, and they are no longer, they don't know who they are anymore, because they have to fight in every episode. And we think that is reality. That is not reality. That is a woman that is unattractive. A woman who is loud is unattractive. Mm-hmm. She lacks discretion. And no man wants to be with a woman who is loud, with a woman who doesn't know what to say at the right time. I think femininity is a power that we have as women. Softness is a power that we have. You know, that beauty, it's a power that we have, and we are able to use it in moments where, you know, there's war, there's fights, there's everything. We need women who are able to come forward, not raising the volume of their voice, but with impact, with strong words. But now we think that being loud means that I am strong, but that actually means that you are weak, because
Yes.
you want to oppose your opinion on someone, and you think that by being loud he will hear me. But when you are loud, no one hears you. But when you are soft and when you speak properly, that's when people will be able to hear you. So the women now of this century, they are very loud, and they think that it is proper, but it is extremely unattractive, and you lack discretion, and it's not beautiful at all.
And just touching base, because some might say I don't have a high voice, but we're loud in our opinions on social media. We are loud in our statuses. Like the person in, like, you know, there are situations where when you meet the person and when you meet their status, you ask yourself, like,
Is it the same person?
is it the same person? And women are so bold nowadays because they can buy face. So I know with my friends, I can't say anything. But in the afternoon, I'm going to post something that they will read that it is about them. And then you'll say, trust people only as far as you can throw them. And then if I'm going to think maybe I had to correct you about something earlier on, or we had to maybe do something, I'm going to ask myself, is she referring to me? And that is a very popular thing nowadays. Women have become so loud and opinionated on their statuses that when we go back to what Seal said later on in life, when you want that job, I have seen people going out of offices and wanting things, and someone pulls a post from when they were 20 and they did something foolish, and then now she says, but I'm a different person today. Okay, we understand you're a different person, but what you stood for back then.
They also have that expression, do you have any skeletons in your closet? Because they will find this out.
Yes, and that's why they say that. And I think today, especially for women that are watching, let's go back to that femininity, because I don't think we've had a generation where there's so much scandals that have to do with women like our present generation. In the past, it was usually men. But today, surprisingly, it's more women now. Like, women are now cheating more. Women are now stealing, defrauding. And the husband is a good husband. And then we ask ourselves, but why? That's because in our loudness, we want to be loud in our fashion. We want to be loud in our possessions, our assets. And we don't calculate the cost of what it does to other people. Because I think it's a bit taxing. As Tammy said, when a person shouts, I don't know, but I myself, I zone out.
For me, it's someone who's completely out of control. So how can I give ears to someone who can't hold his or her own emotions? What that person has to contribute to me. That's my point of view. But when you speak directly in controlling the situation, then you are hurt. The last point that we wanted to explore today.
It's lack of accountability. So all of these things that we're spoken about, I mean, even when preachers were speaking, I was thinking about how loud we can be in our body language. Because sometimes I go, no, but I don't speak a lot. But when your family comes home, the loudness in your face, your sour face, your anger, I'm not talking to silent treatment. It is so loud, even though there are no words coming out of your mouth. And all of these things that we have spoken about, if you ask a modern woman about these things, they are going to blame the man. They are going to blame the patriarchal society. They are going to blame the 500 years of the past where, it was all about this, it was all about that. Now
They're going to blame God.
They're going to blame God. They're going to blame the government. They're going to blame everybody. But they fail to look at themselves and say, how have I contributed? How has my behavior contributed to the state of my marriage, my children not being able to connect with me. No, I'm going to blame the nanny because, she does this and this and this. You're not available. So the kids don't know what you would do differently. Oh, no, this man, he can't be trusted because now I'm bringing, the bacon home and he doesn't appreciate. But okay, you're bringing money home. You don't respect him. You don't care about what is important to him. Even you make it clear to the kids that you are the one who's in charge. So how can he put his life on the line to protect you with everything that he has? Because that is God's instruction to a man, to say you will love your wife as Christ loved the church. That means you're willing to die for her. But would you die for someone who doesn't care about you? Would you die for someone who doesn't consider you, who doesn't respect you, who humiliates you on social media and tells everyone how useless you are? No, you literally shrink back and give her the space to be whatever that she wants to do. But when men do that, they turn away or they shrink back. No, it's still his fault that, he's not leading. Now I had to lead because he's not leading. But you're not realizing, sitting down to say, okay, what kind of marriage do I want? What kind of woman deserves that kind of marriage or builds that kind of marriage? Because none of us are perfect. I know myself that I have so many faults, and every day I am learning, even when I say, oh no, I'm self-aware, but tomorrow I learn something that I was not aware of today that I need to work on. Another seed, like last month, we were talking about seeds that had to die. You are always finding something that had to die where yesterday you thought you were on track. So women don't want to look within themselves. And I think maybe because most know that they're empty within. Most know that something is missing. Most know that their behavior is wrong, but it's easier to play the blame game, to be the victim, instead of accepting responsibility that I have messed up in this area. And if I want my marriage, my life, my relationship with friends and family to change, I will have to accept. Women don't want to take the L and say, you know what, I messed up and I'm going to change. We are applauded so much these days for just being women that we think that even our bad behavior needs to be applauded. When we are called out, we call people haters, we call people that they're not supportive, that they can't be trusted, all because we don't want to look within ourselves. But you can either look within yourself willingly, or life will force you on your knees to look at it. It's up to you when you want to do it. Or you're going to come to the end of your life and regret everything that you have done. But if you can just take responsibility and be like, this is not working. Why is it not working? Why am I so frustrated? Why am I so angry? Why do I need to be so loud about everything? Why do I complain about everything? Then the change can happen. But until each person takes responsibility, things remain as they are.
Have you realized how difficult lately it is for women to apologize? The word "I'm sorry," it's very hard to come out. We have discussed about posting this slide or not. I know it's a bit hurting, but all of us as women need to consider from to. Is it your case? Is it my case? Let us see.
We can all agree that in many ways, women have definitely changed and evolved over time. Here is a bit of a comparison between who they once were and who they are now. When thinking of a woman, the idea has always been a soft, delicate flower, pleasing to whoever lays eyes on it. But now, introducing the modern-day woman, who can be compared to a cactus. No matter how much a cactus blooms, everyone knows that it pricks. Glotches are hair-like spines or short prickles, generally barbed, found around the areoles of cacti. Cactus glotches easily detach from the plant and lodge into the skin, causing irritation upon contact. Now that is the modern-day woman.
You have a choice to make today. I hope You don't look at yourself and say, from that beautiful flower, I became a cactus. It doesn't matter how much I grow, I still prick everyone around me. But if that is your case, let me share with you the new old way of God for your life as a woman. Let us recover the femininity that God has created us with. Our meditation of today goes to 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 3 and 4. Do not let your adornment be merely outward, arranging the hair, wearing gold, or putting on fine apparel. Today, women are not so keen to adorn themselves. They becoming minimalistic. They becoming masculine. So let us think beyond the adornment of gold. But do not let your value be projected by your conquests. Do not let yourself to be introduced by your social medias, by being loud about subjects, by the identity you want to keep. Rather, let it be the hidden person of the heart with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in the sight of God. I want you to attend to the gentle and quiet spirit. It's someone who is in control, someone who is fragile outwardly, but very strong inside, someone who wants to be respected, but is started by respecting people, someone who knows who God is and what purpose she was created for, someone who doesn't need to shout to be heard, because out of grace, out of strong convictions that come from God, she influences, she changes people's mind, she is appreciated. All that behavior, it's honorable, it's precious in God's sight, because this feminine woman who knows her purpose, her role, and who doesn't want the husband to carry on her responsibilities, but she's proud about the commission God has entrusted her with, she will make a difference in the society without words, with gestures, and gestures that come from God, because not only about preaching, she is the reference of God's word to those around her. So she doesn't need to resort to many things, to many tricks, to a very profound speech, to a very glamorous life. She is content in who she is, and she knows that her husband, her children, her friends will not change her for anyone else. That can only come from God. Who knows if you have been resorting more to what you can conquer so that you find value in yourself. And you have even tried to be rough, to conquer in the workplace. But you have been failing. You have been failing in your relationships. You have been failing in your career. You have been failing in every area of your life because you are resorting to the wrong tools. Turn to God. Go back and connect to how you were created, what was God's purpose, and how much He wants to use you. You are a true influencer to those around you when your base of influence is the Word of God. We are going to pray so that you make the right decision today. If you are not living as a woman of God, with all the femininity and beauty that God has created you for, if you're not living as a flower, you're going to start doing so today. Let us pray, please.
Our Lord, we thank you so much for this program. Not only was it striking, but also it touched base on a lot of issues and a lot of problems and questions that women have been asking themselves as to why they're not fulfilled or what is going on. But today we learned that we can just return to you and ask for your acceptance by us having, my Lord, this gentle and quiet spirit. So allow each and every person that is participating in this broadcast, seeing and understanding that they have lost, my Lord, the plot of what you created us to be, but that with you, they are here watching or listening because there is a chance. So may they receive this chance today and be able to become women that will not only be fulfilled for their own good, but also be able to spread it to all the women in all walks of lives that they come across. We thank you for all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. So how about we say, I'll take the flowers because I am a lady. I am a lady according to God's creation, and I am very happy and proud of it. When you are a lady, when you are this hidden person in the heart that God has groomed, you are not less. On the opposite, you impact more the life of people. Shall we start today? Until next week, God bless you all with another striking topic to make you better, because at the end of the day, we are a work in progress. Bye-bye.
The 1st of October marked not only the beginning of a brand new month, but the self-help meeting, which saw the presence of women in action and made a special reference to Pink October. The topic of the meeting was how to be a pleasant woman. Interesting indeed. Let's find out more.
We all like as women to be around other women who are nice, who are pleasant, but we don't understand how it is important to be pleasant ourselves.
What caught my attention is that being pleasant, being a pleasant woman is not being weak, but is you being weak and knowing who you are.
A pleasant woman meaning she is meek not being weak, but she is strong. She is humble, gentle. She puts herself in the feet of others. She doesn't overjudge things or become negative. She's always there to help.
There is a confusion when we hear about being pleasant. There is a confusion about being meek and weak. And someone who is, not acts, who is pleasant, she is meek.
The message itself about being pleasant, that being pleasant, it's not a weakness, because most of us women think that being pleasant is being a weakness. People will take advantage of you. Some of us would say that based on our past experiences. But today what I understood is that being pleasant is actually a spiritual condition. It's more than that what we think it is. And obviously we have to be pleasant at all times, not only when it's required from us, not only when the situation requires it from us.
So it's a matter of choice. I can choose to be weak, or I can choose to be meek.
I understand that I must have a meek spirit. Wherever I go, I must have the same spirit. I must not change. Even if I'm at the church, I must have the same spirit. Even if I'm at home, I must have the same spirit.
Which is to be consistent, not being changed by the environment or situation that you are, trust in God, and also they are always humble. They have an ego to learn, to receive guideline. When they are wrong, they recognize their mistake and ready to ask for forgiveness.
Understanding is something very difficult today, because everyone is taught from early age, from young age, to look after her own interests.
When you are this meek person, you have to be a humble somebody, someone who can put her shoes on the other one's shoes, and you treat other people the way you want to be treated.
So someone who is meek is humble, is always eager to learn, is always eager to receive guidance, is always eager to recognize her mistakes, is always eager to apologize.
For myself, there's a part where Miss Mercy spoke about being a pleasant woman doesn't mean that you have to say yes to everything that everybody is saying to you. So with me, it's a bit of a challenge that, so I have to apply that in my life, knowing where there's a no, I have to be able to say no. And if I'm willing to help in that, I have to be willing to say yes. Yes.
Being meek is part of the fruit of the Spirit. That means that in my everyday life, I must practice being humble.
She teaches by example. And let me tell you, she's not an influencer. She doesn't impose her good ideas. You end up following her good ideas because you see in her daily life.
And one of the characteristics of the pleasant woman is they are meek. And being meek also has characteristics under it, which include being consistent, which include understanding, which includes teaching others, not like imposing your teachings, but being an example, and from your example, them learning from you.
So what we do as Women in Action, we have two anchor projects. We have the cancer work and we have the trauma counseling, where we work with government and with women in abuse with referrals.
Then what are your thoughts on breast cancer, since the Women in Action has been doing an awareness? So what are your thoughts on it?
The thoughts that always we have to take care of ourselves. We have to check what is in us. We have to check that there is something disturbing us. There's something that is abnormal to us. And when we see that happens, we have to go quicker and then ask help.
I am very happy of this awareness because of one thing that I know in South Africa, especially in black women, there is not much awareness in terms of cancer. And most of the time women lose their lives because they did not have much information. Just a simple video that they did for us today, it's a simple video, but it will help us a lot because those are the tools that we need to use in order to check, to do self-checking at home.
So with breast cancer, it is very important for each and every one of us, men or women, to do the self-examination checkups. Once you see something that is out of something that you are not used to, quickly go to your doctor, or alternatively you can come to the Women in Action because they are always here to help us and give us direction of the way forward.
You're feeling judged, don't you? How could they talk about you like that? It's your body, your rules, right? Freedom of speech, why do they get hurt? You're the one who should be offended, right? Well, are they really the ones judging you, or are you just in your feelings? Don't worry, we've got exactly what you need to resolve all this. Friday at 3 p.m.